The little girl's voice barely rose above the clinking of silverware and the joyful chatter of diners at the upscale outdoor restaurant. Clad in tattered, soiled clothing and clutching an old plastic bag, she stood shivering beside a billionaire's table, her hungry eyes reflecting a life that had long forgotten the comfort of a full meal. Each patron averted their gaze, anticipating security would intervene at any moment. However, an unforgettable moment unfolded that changed everything. Jonathan Hayes, a name synonymous with wealth in the city, was a figure admired in newspapers, lauded on television, and celebrated in magazines for his vast fortune. Yet, hidden beneath the veneer of success lay a profound loneliness. Since his wife's death years prior, Jonathan had dined alone, surrounded by admirers drawn to his riches, but none truly cared for him as a person. That day was no exception. He sat silently at an elegantly set table while waiters served dishes that cost more than the weekly earnings of many families. Despite the opulence surrounding him, the food felt hollow. Meanwhile, 14-year-old Emily navigated the crowded streets nearby. Having not eaten since the previous morning, she had been left to fend for herself after losing her parents and escaping an abusive foster home. Each day was a struggle against hunger, cold nights, and the indifference of passers-by who ignored her presence. She scavenged for bottles, rummaged through trash, and slept wherever she could find refuge. Hunger had become her constant companion, erasing any memory of satisfaction. As she passed by the restaurant, the enticing aromas of fresh bread and roasted meat overwhelmed her senses. She wanted to move on, but her legs betrayed her, halting at Jonathan's table where untouched food filled half the plates. Her pride urged her to walk away, but the instinct for survival was stronger. Summoning every ounce of courage, Emily approached him, trembling as she asked if she could have his leftovers once he was done. The restaurant fell into a hush. Several diners frowned, their disgust palpable. A waiter rushed forward, ready to usher the girl away before she could embarrass the affluent guests. Jonathan, however, raised a hand to stop the waiter. For several tense moments, he gazed into Emily's weary eyes, which reminded him of his younger sister, who had dedicated her life to helping the less fortunate before losing her battle with cancer. Her words about true wealth resonated in his heart. It wasn't about money, but the lives one could uplift. Instead of rejecting Emily, Jonathan stood and requested a fresh meal for her, not just leftovers, but a warm plate served with respect. The waitstaff, taken aback, complied. Emily could hardly believe her eyes as steam rose from a freshly prepared dish placed before her. She hesitated, eating slowly, fearful it might be snatched away. Jonathan watched quietly, seeing the fear in her eyes gradually transform into relief. As the hour passed, he learned about the hardships she faced, cold nights under bridges, constant rejection, and the loneliness that shadowed her daily life. She never sought pity or money, only a chance to fill her stomach. Listening to her story, Jonathan recognized a truth that countless business meetings had obscured. While his wealth had grown, it had left an emptiness that no amount of money could fill. That evening, rather than returning Emily to the streets, he reached out to a trusted children's support organization, ensuring her immediate safety. He also established a foundation aimed at helping homeless children regain their footing. Within months, hundreds of young lives found safe havens, education, and hope, all because one brave girl had dared to ask a simple question. Emily's own life began to flourish. She returned to school, uncovered a remarkable talent for painting, and created artwork that reflected the dream she had nearly forgotten. Years later, at the opening of Jonathan's largest community center, she stood beside him as a confident young woman, expressing gratitude for his willingness to see her as a person when others only saw a homeless girl. Jonathan often reflected on how people thought he had saved Emily that day, but in truth, it was she who saved him from a life devoid of compassion. Her bravery reminded him that the most meaningful investments are made in people, not just in businesses. Before concluding this tale, we invite you to share your thoughts. If you believe that even the smallest act of kindness can profoundly impact someone's life, please leave the word kindness in the comments below. Remember, everyone you encounter may be facing unseen struggles. A smile, a meal, a kind word, or simply treating someone with dignity could become a pivotal moment in their journey. Sometimes the question that changes the world is remarkably simple. Can I eat your leftovers? If this story resonated with you, please share it with friends and family, leave your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe for more emotional narratives that remind us of our shared humanity. Your support is invaluable.